Good morning, Twitch TV, and welcome to the weekly community catch-up for Dawngate, your favorite new MOBA that's in beta and not available to play every day, but that's okay.
It's okay.
That's all right. That's all right. You might actually need to move the mic a little bit closer to your mouth there so that you can be heard. Well, good. Joining me today is Scott XairulSC Moore. SC stands for Southern California. It's going to happen every single time. It does stand for Southern California. You may notice we've got a little streaming, like a little thingy at the bottom there. Can you read what that says?
We give away closed beta keys randomly, so spamming chat asking for keys doesn't increase your chances of winning.
Is this true?
It's absolutely true.
Absolutely true.
If we could not give you a beta key for spamming, we might, but we're equal opportunity key providers.
That's right. Right. We are equal opportunity key providers, meaning that it's completely and totally random. So, but yes. So yes, you can randomly win keys here in the Twitch chat, or you can sign up for beta, and you will eventually get a key.
You will.
You will.
Certainly, especially if you register now.
Yes, absolutely.
You'll absolutely get opportunity.
Let me check something out real quick here.
Okay,
No, I don't think you did a thing. I'm thinking that this is actually.
Oh.
I wasn't hearing your voice very well.
Oh.
There we go.
Apologies.
Much better. Much
Well,
better.
don't spam chat with the key is what the thing on the bottom says.
That's what the thing on the bottom says.
Yeah.
So yes. So anyways, welcome to our weekly catch up. How are you doing this morning, Scott?
I'm great.
You
I
great?
had a really good night of sleep. I
Yeah.
slept in nice and late. Came in about 10 minutes ago.
Yeah.
Great. So far, it's been a great
You
day.
just rolled in,
I
it's all
rolled
good.
in. I got through my emails in 10 minutes. It's been a great day. I couldn't be happier.
We got a lot of stuff that we've been working on this week, so I can understand. You probably were here late last night working, I'm guessing.
It was dark outside when I left.
Okay.
I think.
Which
That
means
sounds-
late. Yeah.
That means late enough.
That
yeah.
means late enough, yeah. Doing your QA thing. So, so we're pretty excited, I think, about this week. We, no new shaper this week, but hopefully, fingers crossed, everything gets through testing. We'll have a new patch for you guys and some new patch notes tomorrow sometime.
It's true. We can't promise anything just yet. We
Yeah.
don't like to, officially say that there is a patch until it has been approved by kind of the entire QA team. So
Yes.
that usually happens later in the week just so that we get the maximum amount of time testing on it.
Yeah.
Worst case scenario, there's a lovely variant patch that's out there.
There
But
is.
Best case scenario, there's some good stuff in the works.
Well, yeah, you still can play Variant when you for the beta this
Absolutely.
Friday, which actually the beta is going to be starting at noon Pacific time. That's exciting.
It's really exciting.
Yes.
I mean, constantly hearing it on the forums and, through kind of subreddits and people just talking on the interwebs or sending me PMs directly and saying, please. And I'm like, you think I have control over this? Good one. That's funny, Internet. But yeah, devs have heard it and they're trying to open it up to give everybody a little bit more time to play. And
That is true. That is
specifically,
true.
obviously, the European scene appreciates getting in before
midnight.
Before midnight.
Before midnight or 11 p.m. I think it's 11 p.m. British summer time.
I think
is when
it was. I think it was when
midnight.
we had to signify a completely separate day of the week that they were participating. That you knew it was not as good as it could be. So
I think that that's a very apt evaluation there. At least now we only have to signify a different day that it's ending.
it's true.
Which actually looks better if you think about it. I mean,
yeah, you get to play a whole extra day.
yes,
It's doubly good.
Yeah, into an extra day technically.
9 hours. It's a long time.
It's a long time.
Hopefully, you'll get your fill.
Okay, awesome. So I do see your guys' questions popping up there in the chat, and we'll be taking questions in a little bit. Before we get rolling, I'm going to hide the video. It's distracting. It's delayed.
I was just staring at the chat.
You're just staring at the chat.
I just want to know all the questions.
Okay, so we do see your questions, guys. We'll answer some questions in a little bit. But before we get rolling on that, I want to take some time to actually talk about some community sites that we've got going on out there.
Yep.
And I know that we mention this one quite often, but I want to bring this to everybody's attention. And this is actually the Dawngate Reddit. The Dawngate Reddit is an outstanding place for you guys to go and connect with the community. And the great thing about it is you don't actually need to be in the beta to participate in the discussion here. Venor, who is the moderator there, has done an outstanding job of keeping it well curated, keeping I don't want to say the trash out, but keeping the spam threads out.
I mean, he does a
like
great
that.
job with that, and then I think the community kind of helps take care of the rest.
Yeah, absolutely.
Obviously, it's always easy to kind of see what posts and what topics are hot on the community's mind. Those rise straight to the top.
They do.
There's been some really cool daily discussion threads. I know that obviously the devs in general, a lot of them are just users of Reddit, so it's even easier for them to use in a lot of cases. We give definitely equal opportunity to the forums, so don't be afraid to post there. We want you posting.
Yes.
But I love Reddit. Using Reddit. That's kind of where I go for a lot of daily information.
Well, I know that between our games and our what else? Well, I know that a lot of us previously or potentially still look at the League subreddit and stuff
Of
like that.
course.
So
Yeah.
I look at the what is it? The aw,
Oh, with the cats.
with the cats.
Aw.
Aw.
Those are
Anyways, just kidding. So yeah. So anyways, but thank you very much to Venor. He started up, the day that we leaked actually, and it's been getting better and better every day. A lot of members of the community are doing things like starting up daily discussions. There's a really great daily discussion going on right now, started by CSL James, about the spirit wells.
These things are great.
These are great.
I was really sad that I noticed them and I was reading through them, and then I kept having well, I want to participate in them, and I'm typing up a little thing, and then I'm like, oh, this is from yesterday, and I was like,
Yeah.
I don't know if anyone else is gonna read what I say. So.
Oh, they'll read it if you post it. They'll read it for sure.
But I'll try to hop in and occasionally drop tidbits. I know Zalgus was in there yesterday, and was like, thanks guys, you rock.
Yes,
which is true,
absolutely. So the daily discussions are great, and of course this is almost always the first place to find news about Dawngate, and to see people sharing their YouTube videos and their Twitch streams and stuff like that. So be sure to check out the subreddit. It's a great resource, and we're actually very grateful for it on the studio level. So another resource that I wanted to show you guys, another fan site that just launched on Sunday actually, but has been in development for quite a while, is DawnSource.
Look at that sliding thing.
Look at that. They got a little rotating banner. I wish we had that on our website.
Ooh. That's nice.
It is, isn't it? But yeah, no, it's an outstanding website. They're starting up with some articles. They're putting up posting notes about it. They have their own forums and stuff too. So, and I believe they even have if you look here, you can see they have different streams. People who are streaming under their under the DawnSource kind of banner there. The media forums, guides.
Actually, I read that Examining the Gate Part 1 last night before I went to sleep, and I replied on Reddit because I said, you did a good job with your article. That was a nicely written article.
Outstanding. I actually haven't read Part 2 yet. I read Part 1 last night.
There's Part 2? Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, so we gotta read the Part 2. So Examining the Gate Part 2, cooldown.
I only just got their emails, so
okay.
Give me a little.
Well, when you walk in 10 minutes before the stream, that kind of happens.
Yeah, it happens sometimes.
Right on. So definitely check out DawnSource. That's www.dawnsource.com, and see what they have to offer. I'm very impressed though. So good job, guys.
Yep.
Keep up the great work. I believe it's RL James. He's doing MOBA Champion. Who I can't remember. I can't remember.
RL John's doing MOBA Champion.
MOBA Champion. RL John.
This
yeah.
is
Sugi.
No.
I can't remember. We have so many very active members of the community. Somebody's going to be sad. Zillix, thank you.
Yes, Zillix.
Zillix is doing it. There we go. All right.
Thanks, chat.
Everybody's letting us know in chat. Anyway, so there we go. So another great community asset that I would like to show you guys really quickly is this, and this is this is a little bit more selfish.
Is that Twitter?
This is our Twitter.
Ooh.
This is our Twitter page, the Twitters. If you're not following us on Twitter already, you definitely should check it out. We are at the Dawngate on Twitter. We post links to everything that we're doing here. We definitely engage you guys in some great conversation on Twitter as well as great as it can be with 140 characters. But we have fun. We have a lot of fun here on Twitter too. So please follow us on Twitter. Stay up to date. As soon as we put news out, we always tweet it out as well. So stay up to date here.
Yeah, I think it's usually probably the quickest and fastest way to check. When are we going live next? And,
yes.
What's going on with the stream and all that. So.
Actually, and if you're in the closed beta and you're just hitting the launch the patcher thing over and over again, you don't need to do that. Follow the Twitter, and we will tweet when the servers are on. We actually do that every single beta test. We tweet when the servers are on. So follow us on Twitter. Fun stuff. All right. And then last but certainly not least, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pimp our Facebook page.
Yeah.
We have all sorts of fun stuff here. We always make sure that we post here before we go live on Twitch, and we've actually been doing our Meet the Shaper Series O stuff.
Those things are gorgeous, by the way.
Yeah, I would definitely say that Pat Morrison has done an outstanding job,
and
Kevin Lee.
Well.
Kevin Lee has done a really great job with these renders. I forgot Kevin started doing some of these.
Yeah.
These Meet the Shaper things. Get a chance to chat and to Somebody's following us. Awesome. Get a chance to chat with us here on Facebook. See some of the great content that we're putting out there. Pictures. By the way, did you see this one?
Oh, that's the Mega TV. I
That's
don't know if you're
the Mega
getting a
TV.
good. You're not getting necessarily as good a scale as you get in person when you walk by and somebody's playing on a giant TV.
I don't think you do. I mean, that's like it's like a 40-inch TV.
Easily.
I think it's a 40-inch TV. He is playing Dawn Gate on a 40-inch TV.
Yeah.
Anecdotal story, actually. I remember there's a story about Peter Moore walking by.
It's true.
And going, "Wow, that game looks amazing on there."
Who makes that?
Who makes that?
And then we're like, we do.
Proud
Waste
moment.
on games.
Problem. That's right. So, so yeah. Oh yes, and then there was Donut Day. Donut Day. Pictures from Donut Day.
I did another one of those things where I came in kind of late and missed out on a lot of the donuts.
You missed out. You missed out on the bacon donut.
I
Bacon
did.
maple donut. I'm not going to go on about that though because that's that's the secret stuff. That's the admin panel up there that you guys shouldn't see.
Yeah, don't see the admin panel.
You don't want to see the admin panel.
Too many giga number chips up there.
I know, right? So, anyways, there's our Facebook page. So, Facebook, Twitter, follow us there, and of course, if you're not already following the channel here on Twitch, be sure you follow that. So anyways, that's our kind of community roundup today. But let's talk about some QA stuff, man.
That's what I do.
It's what you do. You are a QA guy. How long have you been doing QA?
In total, I'd say close to 4 years now. So not quite 4 years, but in and around. I started here at Electronic Arts back in July of 2009, and then I stepped away for just a few months and then came back, and I've been here ever since. So it's been a lot of fun. And I've worked on Sims. I worked on a Sims Animals for the Wii. That was my first project ever, and I kind of came in late in development, and I was like, this is QA, huh? This is interesting. And then I quickly moved on to the more standard Sims titles, so Sims 3 World Adventures, which was the first expansion pack, and then I also worked on Sims Medieval with actually... Dibs and Zalgus both worked on Sims Medieval as well, to some extent. So that's where I got built up a good foundation with them, built up kind of some good trust and work relationship bonds there. So that was good. And then from there, I helped out with one of the Need for Speed games for just a little bit remotely, and also did some Facebook kind of consulting stuff. And then now I've been here for quite some time, over a year.
So you are you're very very varied experience. Say that 3 times.
Within kind of the QA realm, I've worked on a lot of different platforms and titles. Within kind of games themselves and what I'm interested in, I'm very niche. I kind of would refer to myself as almost like a little bit of a Blizzard brat, in that I started out with StarCraft very early on when I was back on dial-up, and then was huge into Diablo 2, just like practically ruined my life with that game.
Diablo 2?
Diablo 2.
I hear you, man. I mean, I can remember I actually played D2 for, at one point, over 48 hours straight.
Yeah.
The majority of that was doing meth runs
and
Pendleskin runs.
That's all there was for, I don't know, probably like 4 months straight. And then there was people botting, so you had to keep up with them, because I wasn't doing that.
Yeah.
No, not me.
No. not at all.
When I say that, it makes you wonder, though, I guess.
Does the word mousepad mean anything to you?
Oh, yeah. I mean, you got to have the map hacks.
You got to have them.
I kind of felt like that was a feature that they intended for the users to have. Like, when you just hit the button and everything's revealed, and it's like, look, the game looks so much better now. Isn't this great? it's an advanced feature. So, yeah, I was into that. I got huge into Warcraft 3. Obviously, that spun off into kind of more Dota and MOBA, and I was huge into a lot of the tower defense games that they had there. And I mean, that's why I say, like, when I don't mention that many games, it's because I poured absurd amounts of times into these games, and so I'm an RTS, I'm an FPS, and kind of a MOBA fan, and then obviously kind of that Diablo-esqueness. Diablo 3 got a lot of hours. Whether I have what my opinion is doesn't matter. There's a lot of hours there, a lot.
A little bit of the isometric RPG elements. You like that stuff? Awesome, outstanding. King Pluto for God. Wow. Oh, he's got a little crown on it now.
Ooh, that's
Wow,
nice.
that's some swag.
That's extra classy. It
That
saves
is.
us time too, because everyone's like, "Is that?
Yeah, it does.
Could it be? Is it possible? It is. It's Ploots."
It is. It's Ploots. It is. And for those of you who are joining us for the first time, Pluto is actually our assistant community manager, and you'll be seeing him actually playing on our stream tomorrow. Ooh.
Oh, I hope he's on my team.
Yeah, I hope he's on your team.
Yesterday I got dunked on.
Well, you gotta put him on the opposite team from Moxie, right? That's the rule now.
Between him and Moxie, I think they lay in together and just completely obliterated my team. And we that game ended quickly.
Who were you playing yesterday, Ploots?
He was on Amaranth.
He was on Amaranth?
Yeah, you don't have to ask him. I remember.
He remembered
I remember.
traumatic memories?
Yeah, it's traumatic. Yeah.
Ploots, it's me, Saint Bro. I'm drunk, bro. Need a key, bro. Bro. Burp. I don't think that's Saint. I'm gonna say chances are that's not Saint because I think he's probably in Santa Monica right now. Probably playing some warm-up games.
I'm not even gonna comment on the impression.
Anyways,
it could be
bro.
No.
Was it the burp?
Possibly.
Okay. Anyways. Wow. So you've got a pretty long and storied history when it comes to your MOBA background.
Yes.
You mind telling folks about what's been your history and your experience with MOBAs?
So like I said, I was huge into Warcraft 3. In fact, I was kind of still a proponent of the kind of Reign of Chaos and Frozen Throne ladders while Dota was still taking off. My older brother was getting into it more and more, and he's like, "Don't go play ladder. Come play this crazy mod with me." And I was like, "Okay, well, I guess." And I played it, and it was a little bit wacky, crazy, Incredible Tube Man type of game for me. So I kind of came and went. They patched really consistently with their content and continued to add stuff. And so eventually I was like, okay, I can see. And then I guess it was really when they started picking up all of the mod support so that you could get into games, and they had more of a ranking system built within the custom thing, and you started to just kind of be in awe of what the community could do with another, like make a game out of a game. That was really incredible because just as soon as more people were playing custom games, and specifically the Dota mod, than they were Warcraft 3 ladders, you were like, oh, I see. And then I actually got into the Heroes of New Earth beta extremely early, and played the heck out of that game. And I really enjoyed it. I liked it a lot, especially because it was exactly what I thought it was going to be. They eventually lost their licensing rights, I think, to Dota 2, and they started working on that, so they started going off in a slightly different direction, but I still liked it, still stuck with it. There were a lot of things that I enjoyed about it. And then everyone in the office started playing another game, and I was just kind of looking at it, and it was a little too cartoony for me at the time. And so I kept saying, no, and I put it off for over a year. So I didn't actually get into League until I think it was like a year and a half past the beta, and they'd gone open. So I was way behind the curve, but immediately caught on. Started to see, oh wow, like this is fun. Got in, enjoyed what it had to offer and the changes that it brought to the genre, and I thought, that's like something to be appreciated. And I, actually ended up in the After Hours Gaming League, which is put on by Day 9 and his staff. And so I did the first season that they had League of Legends. So they did one season with StarCraft only, and then they had one with League. And so I've done the last 2 seasons where they've had League of Legends and represented kind of EA technically, although we're Waystone Games, and also participated with Alex Gastiehetu and then Dan the Dibs Gibson.
Dibs, yes.
And actually even Zalgus, I think, was on the team in the first season as well. So we had a cool crew, a lot of people who were just into that game, and when we all kind of found our way to Waystone Game, I guess it's kind of like the we found our way to Waystone Game.
It's what brought you together.
It brought us together, and so it's been a great ride. As I kind of have a very interesting and unique role at Waystone Games, being a senior quality analyst. I fulfill the role both on the qualitative side as well as on the bug and kind of test plan side of things. So having a prior relationship with a lot of the design team has helped us kind of, I think, forge some quality opportunities to make an impact on the game.
Absolutely.
So that's been a little bit different than some of the teams that I've been on. This team's extremely unique in the way that we operate, and that's been a fantastic experience.
Absolutely. So according to Venor, your Lee Sin plays are amazing.
Oh,
and I should show them the video.
I had a lot of stuff on my YouTube channel, and then I kind of just took it all down. But the one thing
Yeah.
I hid it away. I didn't delete it.
Okay.
But the one thing that I left on there was my HGL finals play again
Right.
in the jungle, and I did some cool leasing kicks. But
Okay.
I don't know if they're ready.
Okay. Well,
They can always look at that.
we probably shouldn't actually show that on the stream
Probably
because
not.
of like some sort of marketing issue or something like that.
Probably,
I imagine.
yeah.
Anyways, but you know that's okay.
Yep.
That's okay. So the QA experience, you said you already had, you know, because of AHGL and everything, you had this really good relationship already with the designers. You know, we've seen the question in chat already, but can you kind of walk folks through like what the day-to-day life is like for QA folks here on Dongate and on
So yeah, I wouldn't go into specifically what I do because it's a little bit off the wall. But I
Right.
will talk about, you know, I've got 4 guys on my team here, and they all do a little bit of a unique thing. But first things first is kind of smoking or just kind of verifying the build. So
Right.
we have, you know, engineers checking in stuff and artists and designers checking stuff in all day long. At the end of the night, a build gets kind of kicked off, and in the morning we come in and we go through a suite of checks to find out can you last hit correctly? Are you getting the bonuses you're supposed to get from Gladiator? Can you capture Spirit Wells? And I mean, it's everything that you would expect out of the game. Are all of the basic functionality mechanics existing within the game? And then is there anything just kind of glaring that would be like, stop the presses?
Right.
If none of those things exist, then Sam, who usually handles this, will then promote it up and we do what's called an LKG. That's a last known good. And at that stage, then we can use that for our playtest for the day. And it's always good to kind of have, because we archive all of those, so we have all of our LKGs kind of backlogged, and it helps us diagnose, you know, at what point did an issue start occurring. You know, again, we do a daily playtest here, which means it would be terrible if we go to play the game and everything starts to crash and fall apart. We've been there before. Long ago when I first joined the team, there would occasionally be days where we would go to play the video game and you couldn't play the video game and everyone would go, no.
Why can't you play the video game?
Why can't you play the video game? So having somebody kind of check that in advance, alert people if there's problems, get that promoted, and then it kind of goes through, you know, the machine of kind of the patch process. But I won't go too much into detail there. But that's the first component of someone's day.
Okay.
The second thing is then going through. We have an outsourced team called, you know, they're the North American Test Center. They're located in Louisiana. We got a great team out there. They're actually off kilter with us for schedule, so they are kind of a later evening shift, which means that they're working well past when we're here. So we're going through a lot of their reports,
Right.
making sure that kind of all of the bugs that they entered, we kind of have to triage through those and make sure that you know, how a high priority is this. So we work directly with the development director, you know, von Spificus, and we make sure that all of the bugs that are coming in are not only good quality bugs, but also that we're helping to prioritize to make sure that, oh, this is a serious issue.
Right.
You know, also, you know, we're cross-referencing forums and that sort of thing. So that's something that people do kind of in their a little bit of their downtime almost. If you're not super busy, is you know, hop on the forums first. You know, hop on Reddit.
Right.
Check out any of the boards, see if what people are talking about, and then we can help cross-reference that with our, you know, bugs database and see, you know, kind of help try to rise the top issues up for development so that engineers know, oh, I should fix that before I fix this thing that no one cares about.
Hey Pluto, I think they want you to turn off Scott's monitors. I guess they're.
Are they bright?
I think they're a little bright. If you look at them on there, they're kind of.
Oh, sorry.
It's a little. It's just distracting. That's all. There we go. Wait.
You can Windows L key.
Windows L.
Windows
Lock
L
it.
key on my keyboard.
Windows L. There we go. There we go.
That should be reasonable.
That's reasonable.
Now you can see the 12.
That's
They're
okay.
there.
Oh, you lost your tag.
So those are kind of the main priorities. We then have our playtest right around you know, the afternoon when you guys see them on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Immediately after that, we usually do a quick sync, divide out Senate tasks, do a little bit of a divide and conquer. So depending upon what's coming out with the next patch, there's usually, you know, anywhere between one and five like bigger features or things. Maybe it's
Right.
a new shaper. So we kind of help do a little bit of a divide and conquer. People go through checklists, that sort of thing.
Okay.
And then there's, I think, the only other thing that's really important is just that it's kind of as soon as you run into a big issue, on at least at Waystone Games, while we are always entering bugs for things, we're talking directly to the engineers, the artists, the designers, and saying, hey, here's this issue that we're running into.
Right.
You know, how do you want to handle this? So.
Yes, we are giving out beta keys today. Pluto's giving them out randomly. So if you win one, you'll receive a PM from us. But yeah, so I don't know. Are you already giving them out, Brad, or?
Rich with
every 5 minutes we're giving out a new beta key. So stick around, stay in the channel. You have to be following the channel in order to win a beta key. Just so you know. So if you're not following the channel, you can't win. So please follow. Press the button that says follow. So I know for a lot of people that a lot of people kind of see QA as a way into the gaming industry.
Definitely.
And some people have the aptitude actually to be able to make it into a career. For the folks who are looking to get into the industry, why would you say that QA is a good path into the industry?
The first and foremost is experience with a development team. So again, it's obviously going to depend specifically on kind of where your gig is at and which team you're working with. But a lot of people only have an outsider's perspective, so they only see kind of the flame fest on Reddit, or they only see like why did they make that decision. So getting onto a team and starting to understand development timelines, starting to understand, what a sprint might look like, or why did a feature get cut, why are we prioritizing X over Y, getting to talk to a producer, getting to talk to a designer, and just understand what the decision-making process is and why things are happening just gives you I guess it's not worldly perspective, but it's kind of development perspective.
Right.
As soon as you have that, then you can do more things with your time at a studio, so you become more valuable, and also you're going to understand whether or not you want to be in the games industry.
Yeah.
A lot of people look at quality assurance, and the first thing they're going to think is, you guys play the game all day, right? Isn't it great? Not really. I mean, it's great, but we don't play the game all day. In fact, that's only a small percentage of what we're doing, and sometimes playing is not a great term for what it is that you're doing. So coming in, running through test suites, working directly with development teams, fully understanding development timelines, that's going to give you your best opportunity to understand the bigger picture, find out if that is something that you want to do, and then also find out, based on the personal skills that you have and the assets that you bring to a team, where do you fit in, whether it be in QA or as on the dev side of things.
Right. So have you ever in your career said, let's tighten up the graphics on level 3?
I do it more as a joke than anything else. I really like that commercial because it's just so far from the truth. But it's kind of a running joke within QA.
Yeah, I think it's a running joke within the games industry.
Yes.
I mean, if you ever look on, personally, my favorite is looking on Facebook and seeing those little bucket ads on the side that are like, test video games, and it shows like this picture of a girl in a bikini holding an Xbox controller or something. And it's like, what does that have to do with...
Well, that was week 2 after training, right?
That was week 2,
no?
right.
Oh.
I've never seen you come to work in a Speedo.
Well, that's because I'm usually wearing something on top.
Okay.
No, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have gone there.
Yeah.
It's a lot of times they try to sensationalize QA. It's not exactly the most glamorous of positions. At the same time, it's just as valuable as any other position on the team. I think the biggest thing for me personally is if you are interested in QA, try to find a studio and or location that is at least making a concerted effort to demonstrate value to their QA employees. So depending upon, I know people who are at other studios who just are very unhappy because they get treated like a second-class citizen kind of thing. I personally do not have that, and I've always been satisfied.
That's because we love you, Scott Moore.
It goes a long way. Being loved goes a long way. But I think that's like kind of the biggest warning that I could give people is find a place where you can tell that QA is a part of the culture, and it's not some sort of offbeat, not cool kind of career track.
Okay. So I'll tell you what, we're going to go ahead and take some questions from the audience. Left a lot of time for Q&A because I know you have lots of answers.
I have answers, generally.
Being a QA, a quality assurance guy, and this is something that, for those who may be thinking about getting in the industry or haven't gotten in the industry yet but would like to, always listen to your QA guys because they tend to know more about the game than almost anybody else. part of it is because they spend such a large amount of time testing the game, so they become very intimately familiar with different aspects of the game's play, and usually they end up being like the best players in the studio in my experience. But that's just been my experience. So, anyways, if you have a question, put a Q with a colon mark in front of it, and we will ask we will ask some questions to Scott XairulSC Moore. You're doing the breathing thing.
I see. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I see LeBron. I mean, last Baron
Last
05.
LeBron.
I see that name and it pops out.
Yeah.
And it's always red. But question is, where are you guys located? Out of curiosity, SoCal, like a lot of other studios. We are in Northern California. Redwood City is the location, and that's EA Redwood Shores.
Yeah.
So
that is. Did you know that we are the most temperate city in America?
The weather here is fantastic.
It's
As
amazing.
someone from Southern California, I very much like the weather down there. I miss the beaches, but I love the weather up here. It's nice.
Okay.
It's
yeah.
I guess it is temperate though. So
It's
that's
very
like,
temperate. I mean,
that's
it's
hard
like
to love.
mid 70s.
It's just not. It's never bad.
I like that about this area because you know what? I like no seasons. I like having one wardrobe, and that works for the entire year. The only thing I have to change between winter and spring or summer is whether or not I'm wearing my Birkenstocks. That's really all I have to change.
That's a tough decision.
It's a very tough decision,
Yeah.
and you know. So, what's with the lights? We put the blue light on whenever we go live, so that is just to let people know that we are live. Fellow foe, can we expect support for modding in Dawngate?
I would say, generally speaking, no. I think that we are actively listening to the community for features and content that they are looking for. I think so. I would say to modding support. Not directly. If there's stuff that you want in the game, be vocal about it in a polite and kind way, and we will be listening. And if people are hopping on kind of that bandwagon and agree with you, then it is very likely that we will do our best to support those types of things.
Okay, awesome. Let's see here. Do you plan on having a pro scene? We want to make we want to make a good game first. Why is Pluto here? He works for us. Pluto's the assistant community manager, guys. He is working for us. What sort of early esports ventures can we expect, and when should we expect them? Early esports ventures, none, because we're not focused on esports.
Yeah, I mean, I think the closest thing to it is that there are some community-driven tournaments.
That is true,
running.
yeah.
So if you want to participate in those, check out the subreddit.
Yes.
And obviously, if you're participating in the beta, and I'm sure that if, again, the community wants to support those types of things, that that will be a valid opportunity for people to check that type of stuff out.
Let me see if I can even find the weekly beta tournament right here. There's that thread on, and they run them over raid call and everything. Ooh, they even have like a fancy little logo there.
It's fancy.
This is fancy. Look at all the formatting.
From my understanding, they've done a good job of running it, and I don't think we have any plans on interfering with anything like that.
No.
We want people to have fun, so hopefully, the beta windows will allow people to run those and have fun with it.
So they host them on raid call. Basically, CSL James, I believe, runs them. So yeah, check them out. While we're not officially supporting any sort of esport things right now, again, major focus is on making a good game. We're not going to stop the community from doing that. I think that anything that draws people together to play together is worthwhile and
absolutely
definitely a good time. It's always a good time.
To the question.
To the questions. How long has the game been in development?
I would say longer than I've been on the team, so over a year and a half.
Well, that's actually good. Like, how much have you seen the game actually change in the amount of time you've been on the team?
It's unbelievable. I'll say when I came on at the same time that Zalgus and Dibs came on. In fact, I think I came on the week after them, and while the engine and the game itself was showing a lot of promise, the game mode was nothing even remotely. Like, I don't even know if I want to get too much into it.
I know what you almost said there. But it was different.
We've experimented with so many different things, and where we've netted out, I mean, I guess I would say props to everyone in design, but a specific shout out to Alex Gasty. He's the lead systems designer. He really understands what it is that we're driving towards, and has created the Spirit Well, the 2-lane mechanics, the roll system, some of the kind of foundations for what makes this game fun for me and for so many of the fans that I'm seeing out there on the forums and whatnot. But yeah, I mean, none of that existed. We've tried all different types of lane setups. We've tried with last hitting, without last hitting, anything that you can think that you could either add to or pull away. We've at least given it some form of effort, and some of those have resulted in some crazy, wacky things.
Yes, yeah.
And we always wish we could have more development time, but I'm very satisfied with where we are right now. Not in a let's stop and just be satisfied and done. No, I'm satisfied with where we are, and I'm hoping that we continue to drive at the rate that we have to improve the game. I guess like 3 months ago, we didn't have environment art. We were playing in like a box level.
We were playing
almost.
in Boxland, yeah.
Where walls and stuff were red boxes, and the ground was white terrain texture.
Yeah.
And the art team swept in and beautified the game almost instantaneously.
Yeah.
Almost instantaneously.
Well, that is true. I think that the art team was kind of working in the background.
They were
on making the world pretty. But
yeah, they had their own art level.
They were like, "Can you finish the mode, please? Finish the map so we can make it look good." So, but I mean, I remember that there was that point in when we went from having kind of the box mode map to the arted up map where the game became all that much more real for me. Like I remember commenting on that was like, the game became really like, I was like, okay, we got a game here. It's arted up, it looks good, so yes. Fanara 12345. I honestly believe the game has massive potential. It could easily catch up to other MOBAs. What are our hopes for the game based on a general idea? I mean, I think that one thing that we've been saying fairly consistently is that we honestly just want to make a really fun game. Our hope is that you guys like playing the game and enjoy playing the game, and eventually, hopefully, spend some money on the game so we can keep going.
I think it's fair to say we want to consistently grow.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't think that there's any, we're gonna, I guess, you always want to shoot for the stars, but that's not how we're approaching things. We're saying, let's grow this responsibly. Let's, grow this with, features and with content and with the community, and, we'll see where it takes us.
Yeah, so. Absolutely. Do we have plans to change the MOBA meta? I don't think we don't change the MOBA meta. Like that's not up to the developers to do that. I mean, just like that's the thing about the MOBA genre is that it was started by the players. It is supported by the players, and it continues to be something that the players have a huge voice in, and that goes down to the meta for each game.
I think they had a cool discussion on it for one of the dailies, which was talking about kind of the roles and how that has changed things in combination with the two-lane map, and how you can run different permutations of kind of shapers and different roles and that sort of thing. Additionally, I mean, some people have called it out in chat, but the double jungle thing, like, it's totally viable. Does that mean that that's necessarily the maximum optimal decision to make? I maybe know, but I wouldn't answer it on stream. Again, like, those things are going to continue to shift and change, and we will support all different types of metas, and the only way that we're going to kind of like slap things down is if it's affecting the community and the game in a very negative manner.
Exactly, yeah.
Otherwise, if people want to run double jungle every game, do it. If people only want to run one jungle, do it. If you want to run no jungle, Good luck. Good luck. I don't mean that in a hunter way. I mean, someone does need to go and clear those camps and get the buffs.
Well, you're missing out on XP and Vim if you don't.
Dat Vim.
Will this be a free-to-play game? Yes, this will be a free-to-play game. I've seen a couple of people ask where our artistic, our inspiration for Shapers goes, and Shapers is what we call our characters. We're not artists, nor are we the creative director or creative side of things. We're community and QA. But what I can tell you is that we do draw a lot of our inspiration from Miyazaki films, so kind of like a Spirited Away, Floating Castle, things like that. So, any bugs encountered? So obviously we've had bugs. What's been the most entertaining bug you've encountered so far?
It's kind of an offshoot of one that someone actually caught a really cool video of, which is it's basically the cast a targeted ability from anywhere, and it had to just do with some crazy Fog of War mechanics. But if anyone knows Cerulean's Impale, that's his E ability. It's the one where he stabs out his uber pitch.
His
What is that thing?
halberd.
Halberd. Is
Halberd.
it a halberd?
Hunter called it a halberd.
All right, if Hunter called it a halberd, it must
Yes.
be. So he like impales you with his halberd and then flips you backwards. But he could do that from the locus, which is your home base, and you would then get ultra mecha laser cannoned down in one
Right.
shot. So you would just start doing this thing where you would like move to the middle of the map, but then like hit stop and then pop people with impale when they come out of the fog of war, and then they would just be standing there innocently, just sitting there,
Right.
like, oh, I'm just gonna get ready to start last hitting in lane, and then it's like first blood, and you're like, oh, I see, good
Wow.
bug, and
Good bug across the map. Well, there was another one that was kind of like that where with Cerulean's ult, right?
Well, so it's again, it's a little bit different,
It's a
but
little bit
now
different,
it's
yeah.
when people are recalling to base or to their locus.
Right.
If somebody does a targeted ability onto them, it will follow them. But if you're doing Freya's dash or Cerulean's ultimate, then you will follow them back to their base.
Yes.
I think Kel's ultimate as well. It's hard to time it out, but somebody did do it where they were playing as Cerulean or they were watching and somebody was recalling and Cerulean jumped on them and then just teleported back to the base and got
There's actually a YouTube video of that. isn't there?
mecha locus cannons.
Yes.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Can you use a different port? My ISP blocks the one that Dongate uses. Delboy, let us post on the
Post on the
subreddit.
forums, yeah.
Post on the forum or the subreddit what port that is, or what ISP that is, and I can see if we can have maybe like our web security guys or something like that reach out to them and work with them on that. Our server location. So right now the closed beta server is in Chicago, Illinois, which is in the Midwest in the United States. Our ping times are something like 50 ms. However, like I've seen a bunch of Europeans say that their pings are usually around 150ish right now, which isn't like the best, but it's playable.
Yeah.
Very playable. I'm not sure what like South Americans are getting right now either, but
It should be similar. It
yeah.
shouldn't be. I mean, most people, unless you're in Asia, should be sub 200. And as
Yeah,
long as
I
you're
think
playing
so.
sub 200, I mean, I am
Should be
a
fine.
big ping elitist. So if it's like I'm not getting 50 ping, like in
Yeah.
every other game, I can notice it.
Yeah.
In Dongate, it's not nearly as bad.
Yeah.
The only other servers that we've played on are servers that are in London, which are not like ready to go at all.
Yeah.
But we play on those just to give us an idea of what's the European experience like. So when someone's describing what's happening from Europe to Chicago, we can see almost an identical type of behavior. So we know it's not
Right.
bad. In fact, we've done playtests on it.
We've
and
done
it's-
playtests on the
and
150. Yeah.
it's, there's obviously it's not perfect, but it's pretty darn good, all things considered.
Yeah, I would say so
Just that
too.
ocean and the thing. And
The ocean
connection
with the
it's not
stuff
bad.
and the junk and the laser pipe and all
Yeah.
that fun stuff. Eventually we do plan on opening up the European server, and then we'll do other regions, as the need arises down the road. But I think right now our main concern with opening up the European servers, we actually don't have a way of region identifying people once
It's
they've logged
true.
into the game to actually offload them. Okay, European, you're
Yeah.
European. Here you go to London. You're North American. You go to.
So we could just turn it on and roll the dice and
Be
then
like, hey!
we'd take all the people from California and put them on London rack space, and then
Exactly.
we'd do vice versa to Europe and Chicago.
Yeah.
And everyone would just love us. We'd be great. So I
Exactly.
mean, that's just a tribute to what we've been talking about. Is
Yeah.
if something's not ready, we're gonna hold off on it. Obviously, if it's something that's needed, then we'll push for it harder. But everything's trying to be done responsibly. We don't want to blow these things up.
Yule84 is asking, are we going to handle EU the same as US players as far as pricing of content goes in the game? Honestly, we can't really speak to that right now. We're not really discussing our business plan, like pricing and stuff like that at this moment. There is a monetization FAQ up in our forums, and I believe it was cross-posted into the Reddit as well. So if you have some questions, you can go and you can look at what we posted there. That's about all we're saying at this point in time. But not to worry, when we get closer to what we're calling kind of our monetization closed beta, we'll actually have, I'll even invite Miss Moneypenny, our monetization director, to come here on the stream and answer your questions live, and her lovely accent will charm all of you, I'm sure. But yes. Is the game going to be pay to win, by the way? No, it's not going to be pay to win. Check the FAQ down there. We dislike the idea of pay to win very much so. So you got about 10 more minutes. So Colin696 is asking, what's your favorite aspect of the game that differentiates it from other MOBAs currently on the market? And I paraphrased that a little bit.
I'll go with the obvious one for me, which is the role system. I love the discussions that have been popping up because you have this it's almost kind of polarizing as far as what, not in that everyone seems to like the role system, by the way, from what I've been reading.
Yes.
I've heard very few dissenting opinions there. What is interesting though is when you talk about something like the Predator role, and like you've got some people heralding it as this is OP, and then other people on the other side going this is complete trash. And I'm just like, this is great. I mean, obviously, it would be better if everyone was like, all roles are equal and it's perfect. I would love if that's the thing. But at the same time, it's almost just as good that you can have one side thinking this is great and other side thinking it's not useful.
There's actually kind of a truism within community management is that if everybody's complaining about everything equally, then you're actually doing pretty well.
Yeah.
And it is very true, actually. If at some point in time everybody seems kind of OP, that means that there is an effectiveness there. Now, I'm not saying that, because of that we would ever rest on our laurels and go like, game's done. That's not the case at all. Games as a live service is constant development, constant balancing, and constant tuning. So, and lots of us here have experience with that. So,
someone asked a question about other kind of MOBAs in the pipeline that aren't us, and I guess my response to that is we're focused on us.
Yeah.
That's all we can control within the market, and I think that we've got some really cool content that's out there now, and I think we've got some really awesome stuff in the works. And as long as our community is happy and growing, I don't think we have anything to be too worried about.
Yeah, I think that's very true. I mean, and the other part of it is that we honestly believe, and this is a very genuine statement, that there is room for growth within the MOBA genre.
Yeah.
Our lead producer Dave likes to kind of compare MOBAs right now to where shooters were in the 90s. So it's like, we're on the cusp of seeing, I think, a lot of innovation within this genre. And, our goal is to make a contribution in a way that, people look at a feature or something that becomes maybe a standard within the MOBA genre, and they go, oh, that was done by Dawngate first, And
I'm super proud of the fact that we are not cloning any games out there.
No,
and it's not to speak to anyone else in the market. That's purely when I think of what this team has put together. There's obviously the fundamental. I kind of like you make the fundamentals of basketball, Magic Johnson 101. It's
right.
like you could kind of like play horse, but you're still playing the game of basketball. You're still shooting a hoop kind of thing. Like,
right.
We're making a video game. It happens to be in the MOBA genre, so there's going to need to be some level of similarities. Otherwise, it turns out we're not making a MOBA anymore.
Yeah.
And I know we hit on this all the time, but I'm super proud of the innovations that we've chosen to go with, and then I've also been really proud of where we've looked at it and said, you know what, the decisions that were made already were the correct decisions. So let's leave those things alone. And I don't want to speak to specific mechanics there and get into nitty-gritty details, but I'm very proud of what we've done so far with making this game different from other things out there.
Voice acting for Shapers. Can we get some info on opportunities for that? So we'll have Caleb on here again, or even like post something in the Reddit or on the forums if you're there, and I'll point Caleb towards it and be like, hey, can you tell them where you go to pull people? Because there's actually like a website that you go to. I know I've seen audio directors do this. It's a website, and I can't remember what it's called, but you go there and you post like what you're looking for, a description of what you're looking for, and then people submit their with a little script, and like people submit their auditions on that website, and then you download them and listen to them, and you can contact people. So a little secret, like I learned that, and I was like, oh wow, this is cool. So. But Caleb can give you guys that information more in depth, and we'll make a post on the forums or in the Reddit, and I'll point Caleb over there. So
I can't go into too much detail, but what kind of software do you use to create Dawngate? I suppose we're using Visual Studio 2010.
Yes,
it's amazing.
Let me tell you, Visual Studio 2010.
It's the bee's knees.
It's the bee's knees. We're actually giving away keys right now in the chat. Randomly to folks in the chat. So every 5 minutes, the Ginger King back there, evidently as he is PMing folks keys. So yes.
Secret Beef asks, do you think Blink will become a must-have spell? That's from the spellbook system. And what will we do to make sure that that's not the case? So I actually don't think it's a must-have right now. Obviously, there are more spells that are in the works, and there is one that was added with the last patch, and I think there's likely one in the future
with the
patch. With Blink, it has a really long cooldown. It is extremely useful for either securing a kill for you, or it's useful for kind of preventing a kill from the enemy team. It has a really long cooldown. If you look at some of the other spells that are like let's say Tailwind, for example, it's either got a 75 or a 90-second
Yeah,
cooldown.
yeah.
There's a lot of instances where you can secure a kill and or get away from an enemy team and do that for more than just you, and it's on a shorter cooldown. So I think we're looking at cooldowns, we're looking at strength of the abilities, we're looking at range, all that other stuff.
Yeah.
I think Blink's always going to be a fundamental nice thing to have, and it's kind of like if you're not sure what to get, that's a good thing to grab.
It's a safe choice, I would say.
It's a very safe choice.
I know for myself, like I've actually there's a few shapers that I do not take Blink on.
Absolutely not.
Like
yeah.
I don't think I've ever taken Blink on Kel. Like for Kel, I almost always take like
Yeah.
Bastion, Tailwind
Yeah.
for my team, and then something, especially because I jungle, I take Vanquish.
Yeah.
Later on I may go back and retrain it. And actually, no, I don't take Bastion. I'm sorry, I take Stasis on Kel.
Stasis is a very solid choice.
So like if I wanted to go back, and retrain my spell book out of Vanquish, which is the kind of like the smite equivalent in our game, I would actually go back and take Bastion instead of that, just because Kel's like a diver, So, and he's got such great mobility already, So. There was a question about item stacking. What are our views on item stacking?
So all items in the game that use kind of the name system are basically unique passives. So
Yes.
there is, if you buy power, that gives you plus 12 power. If you buy a control, that's going to have moderate slows on it, and it's it depends on what type of thing that you use, and then that's got on it like frost or slowy 1, and then if you get inevitability, that has like frost or slowy 2. This is similar to other systems that people have seen in the past. Anyways, anytime it has frosty in the name and it uses the same name somewhere else and it has a 2 or a 3 component,
Right.
they don't stack.
So all passives are unique, basically.
Essentially, yeah.
Essentially,
Assuming, yeah, exactly what you're getting
Yeah.
at. And then I know someone asked about it much earlier in the chat, but they're like, "What do you think about like stacking a crazy amount of one stat?" And I think they called out Desecrator and haste/cooldown reduction, and I think they
Right.
quoted 68%. Don't think you can get that high. There are diminishing returns on specific stats.
Yep.
Additionally, if there is anything crazy that is kind of, I guess, quote-unquote OP, if it's fun, we'll look at it. If it is like breaking the game, then we'll... if it's fun, we'll probably just let it be.
Right.
If it's breaking the game and hurting kind of the player experience, then obviously we'll be looking at those types of things. But I don't think you can get to 68% on Desecrator.
I remember asking that question like during development. Are there diminishing returns on what stats do, things like mastery, haste, stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, if you're noticing like an egregious thing and you're playing in the beta, report it. I mean, that's what beta's for, is for us to find these things, these balance issues or these balance bugs, and to squash them.
I gave him a shout out earlier, but the team that we have at the North American Test Center in Louisiana, great people. We have pretty much everybody on the team has some level of MOBA experience. We've got several people who are Diamond over there.
Yeah.
And we do regular competitive games between our team here and their team there. They're regularly playtesting the game. So,
Yep.
Obviously there's a ton of ad hoc and running through test sweeps, but
Yes.
they play the game.
A lot,
And they do weekly feedback to us and say, hey, here's this crazy haste Desecrator build, and it's blowing up playtests. And then we look at it. I mean, there's no... so that's not to say we will miss stuff. So that's what the community's here to help us with. But we'll...
yeah. So who's better, by the way, NATC or us? A teams.
Ooh, if you took the A team from NATC, I think they might take us.
They might.
Probably like in a best of 5, it'd be like a 3-2. That's what I
Okay.
would say. I'd give it to them. I think actually Gasty hopped on the chat there and he said you need over 350 haste to reach that level of cooldown reduction, which is pretty hard to do, if not impossible.
I'm about to say, is that even possible?
With 6 slots, I don't think you can get that high.
I don't think you can.
Yeah.
I don't think you can. Will there be skins? Again, we can't really talk about monetization stuff, guys, right now. So, why did we not have a presence as E3 since it's such a big platform? That's a good.
Not for us.
It's not for us. I
Yeah.
mean, we are. E3 is a very retailer and kind of business centric show. It's kind of an industry
also
show,
like
right?
Blockbustery too.
It's very, very blockbustery, and we're not. That's not really where we're at. We're going
Yeah.
straight to you guys. We're going straight to the community. I mean, you all basically, you own this game with us right now, and we want it to be a partnership, a collaboration. And so, I don't think E3 is for us at least. Right now, the best way to do that. So
even within just like if you just put us in any company, and everyone has such a huge lineup of great games that are coming out.
Yeah.
You know, it's look, we will have our own platforms for sharing our game with the community,
Yeah.
and I don't think E3 was definitely the right call there. So
Dazzle, can we name some of the, I got a couple more questions I want to get to. So Dazzle is asking, can you name some of the players who you have on the various A teams? So like here, we don't want to out anybody at ATC, but like let's say folks at, oop, wrong one. Sorry.
So here, some of the best players are Bjol, who is Richard. He's on my team. He's one of the analysts. Jesus Moshigaren or Moxie Garen.
Yeah.
He's been on the team the longest of my analysts, and so I'd say generally speaking, all around, he's probably one of the best players.
Yeah.
Pluto, who just joined, obviously has a lot of skills.
He's got a lot of
skills.
He's all right.
I used to think I was good, and then now I just am #1 feeder.
I hear he's okay at that last hitting stuff too.
It's true.
Yeah.
So I'm probably here. I'm probably like 6th or something on kind of the list. Maybe 5th if I snuck in.
And you're not a scrub. I'm gonna be honest. You're not trash.
Yeah, I'm a platinum
regardless
player.
of what Pluto and Moxie say about you. You're not trash.
Yeah.
Okay,
Thank you.
Scott's
Oh no!
Look at that. He's waiting for.
Bye.
And then there's Zalgus, of course. Zalgus is.
Zalgus is actually pretty
he's
good.
actually very good.
I'll just out you now, Zalgus. I hope you're watching this.
His Amaranth is really scary.
He always runs the same build on every shaper all the time, and maybe it's effective, but you gotta innovate.
You gotta innovate. Gotta vary it.
Yeah.
Shake it up a little bit.
Yeah, that's the only one. The only one funny thing I'll add is like, so Gasty's also very good, but I laugh because when we're doing the matchmaking for playtests on a daily basis, Gasty likes to do like, he likes to experiment and just do crazy wacky things just to see like what it would be like in an actual game. And so sometimes we'll be like, group up, let's go kill the parasite, and Gasty will be like, let's see what happens when I don't group and help you with the parasite, or let's see what happens when I go take this spirit well off of myself. So great player, but he sometimes does his own thing, and that causes a little bit of after office rage. Good guy, Gasty.
So our friend LeBron, Last Baron, I'm sorry.
LeBron. Keep calling you
LeBron. I do. #1 Miami Heat. Anyways, our friend Last Baron actually asked, how's the feedback been for the last beta test? We don't want to get into like specific metrics and numbers right now. Maybe one of these days we'll have Jiva come over on the stream and actually share the data with you guys if we can. We'll see. We'll see if we can. I don't know. But you know, I would say it's been good.
Yeah.
You guys have been very honest with us, and that's very much appreciated.
I think the things that we could say are, people did a great job of taking the survey.
Yes.
So
yes, don't forget to take that survey in the next test.
Yeah, if you are participating in that beta, every time there's a new patch, we're going to reset that survey, and we're going to allow you to take it. And we want you to take it, and we're pleading with you to please take the survey.
Take the survey, because that's what lets us keep making this game like we want to make the game, which is with you all.
With the number of people that we had involved, we had a huge kind of turnout for the survey, so that was great. Coolest I could tell you is that Varian, no surprise, was the most played shaper. But that was cool to
Shocking.
see. Yeah.
As Gladiator, I'm going to imagine.
Yeah, that's true. How did you know?
How did I know this?
Did you know? Other cool stats are, we are looking at win rates. You know, one of the things, and it's just kind of a weird thing, is that since everything's custom games right now, that means that a lot of times you get mirror matchups, so one variant on each team. That means that one person's getting a loss and one person's getting a win, which means everybody's win rates in general get kind of pulled towards 50%. With that said, things look very good. There's nobody who's like we look at the forums, and we're obviously listening to the feedback, and we listen to everything that people say as far as this is OP, et cetera, et cetera. But nobody's like an egregious outlier.
Yeah.
And that is, I mean, for this stage of where we're at, I think that there was a pretty darn good job of first pass tuning, but there's a lot of work to do, and no matter what those win percentages are, we're still going to listen.
Well, I remember looking at some of the stats and pointing at a particular shaper and going, wow, that's, you know, I didn't expect that shaper to be there. And it was actually pointed out to me that a lot of that probably has to do with the skill involved with playing the shaper. So, you know, there are some of those things that are going to affect it and impact it too. But, I mean, like Scott said, you know, the data is very important to us, right?
Yep.
The data that we get just from you guys playing the game is hugely important. And what we're doing is we're taking a very balanced approach of, player feedback, and we're weighing that against the data that we're getting.
Yeah.
And so both of those together give us, I would say, a very complete picture of it. And then you combine that with our own personal experience in playing the game. I mean, our designers are in the game from in the beta, playing with you guys from the time it starts until when we end. So
yeah, my favorite things from the stats were also we can see items that are purchased and that you have at the end of the game, and we can immediately see from week 1 and 2 where certain items were being just bought like crazy, and then recommended items hit in the last patch, and we immediately were like, that is all because of the recommended items. Obviously, people are learning the game in general, but as soon as we gave people, like, here's probably, like, a good build that you should maybe try out, immediately had an impact.
Yes. And there's going to be some stuff coming in our next patch that I think are going to have immediate impact as well. So, again, keep an eye out for those patch notes, hopefully later this week. And, yeah. So, anyways, I think that we actually are out of time now. So
can I get one last quick thing?
You can get one last quick thing. One last quick thing.
The only thing that I would say, and this goes for my QA guys, but the community can take it how they want. I will always listen to the feedback, and we as Waystone Games will always read your posts. With that said, I think that giving feedback is almost kind of a interesting diplomatic kind of venture, and the best thing you can always do is kind of just represent it as neutrally as possible. So tell us why you feel the way that you do. And I work on this with my team at NEC. Tell me why you have the feelings that you do. If you get dominated by a Fenmore in a game and you feel like crud, tell me what was frustrating about that. It was because you died in 2 seconds. If you just run into the forums and just go OP, 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 it's hard to digest that information and do something with it. So always tell us why you feel the way that you do. Give as much information as possible, and that goes for bugs, that goes for feedback, etc. And we will do everything in our power to make this game better.
Okay, guys. So don't forget, beta will be online this Friday, starting at 12 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time. That's 2100 CEST, or 3 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. So, and then we're going until our normal time, which is 9 p.m. Pacific Time, 6 a.m. CEST.
Whoa, numbers.
It's so late, 6 a.m. But
I'm regularly up till 6 a.m.
Yeah, no, you're crazy though. So please jump on if you're in the beta, play the game. We're going to be sending out more keys later this week, along with a reminder email letting you guys know that, hey, the game will be up during that time. We'll be live streaming. I think we're going to kick it off at noon and start it off, play a couple games on the live stream. We'll take a little bit of a break between.
That seems reasonable.
Yeah, probably from like 3 to 6. We'll take a little bit of a break, and then we'll fire the live stream back up and close out the night with you guys.
Cool.
Tune in, because all during the live stream we'll be giving, whenever we're on, we'll be giving away beta keys, and we'll play fun games for it. Keep her kill, keep her assist, keep her death in some people's cases. I think that should be me, actually. But definitely jump in, join us for the live stream if you're not in the beta. Even if you're in the beta, join us for the live stream. We love to have you guys engaged in the chat. We like to answer your questions and everything. So until next time, we really appreciate y'all tuning in for a community catch-up. We'll be back tomorrow at 1:30 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time with Pluto playing in our daily playtest. I'm sure he's going to totally be trash, and the throws will be outstanding.
Oh, I'm gunning for him.
You gunning for him? All right, awesome.
See you guys next time.
See you again. Bye-bye.